this. Hey, how about? Go on. Be right back. Bye bye. Come on. Atta boy. Yeah, boy. Oh my goodness. Kind of vacation. Hold my beer, Jack. This fit. Gotta hold my beer. This is man that my friend responded to us, and I sent him. It's actually decently good news. Joe Biden might actually close down Gitmo, finally. So, that'd actually be pretty cool. Yeah, close that fucker. Like, been waiting. Like, how many innocent people for, like, how many decades have just been, like, rotting and tortured in there? I know, at least with that place, there also is, like, legitimately, like, probably horrible fucking people, but, I mean, does that really mean that it should exist? No. So, fuck it, man. Close that shit down. I mean, the whole purpose of it was supposed to get people, like, tried and put to an actual fucking, like, prison system if they were guilty. But, no. Pretty much the exact opposite. Just leave them there and treat them as if they were guilty before they were even considered innocent. Aye. I, like, hate waking up sometimes because throat, lungs are all, like, phlegmed, nose is all, like, runny and shit. I hate it. Ugh. What are you doing, bro? Silly little dog. Yeah, I can already tell that. Ugh. Shit sucks. But here, I'll just turn this away. Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Nose should be cleared. Hopefully. Oh, bubble. Yeah. Oh, there you go. That a boy. He's a good buddy. Hmm? Oh, you're just a sweet little thing. Doc of the Crystal Skull Vodka MC. What's up, dude? What's up? Oh my goodness. Oh, it's getting a little something nice, short and stout before we gonna have to work fun shit. Cause it's all kind of pull interesting little things. No, what was this? Oh, someone uploaded some more Sabotage footage from 16th. Cool. Oh, I remember that song. Was that Sabotage or was that Epica? No, I think I was pretty sure that was Epica. Yeah. At least initially. Then shit cuts off and then some more. Okay. Heads pounding. Yeah, I can imagine. Because you fucking got, like, lit on Skull Vodka, because that shit's, like, fuck you up. Oh my god, fucking nose again. I hate the mornings. Ugh. What the fuck? Why? Why must I suffer? Oi, oi, oi. Oh, here. What was that one thing I was seeing earlier? I was just like, what the fuck? Where'd that go? Because I didn't watch the video yet, but there's like this Rational National video that was recommended to me called Big Fake Tatas Catapults Tucker Carlson into Dangerous Rant. Just the title, Big Fake Tatas, dude. I love it. David Dahl, you fucking dork. Just like, oh, yep. Big Fake Tatas is what drew Tucker Carlson over the edge. Trying the new Star Wars patch DLC so far. I'm enjoying it. The Knights of our Toxic God Origin is a little OP though, since you get special night jobs that produce research and naval capacity. I watched that video and Sucker low-key being transphobic. Low-key? I'd imagine he was just blatantly, splurging it out like he does with all of his propaganda garbage. Like, he doesn't really low-key push things, he just does. Like, I mean, he's one of the few fucking Fox hosts that could basically just be an open fucking white nationalist Nazi and say Nazi talking points and get away with it. And no one bats an eye, practically. So, I mean, he's just one of those few dudes that could just get away being that way. So, of course he's gonna do that. But, yeah, might as well. Might as well see what absurdity is going on with this. First, let's get our bowl going. Oh, here, might as well put this down at least in the meantime. So we're not gonna watch it quite yet. Well, it's not quite yet. So I don't know when you passed out at some point last night, but beautiful little like it's actually got like totally fucking pretty much nice and upgraded here, and it's all sided too. So when aiming, it should be nice and sided as well. But I'm really liking this this Picatinny rail piece that kind of elevates itself a little. I actually really do legit like that. Now I just need to get a hand guard, a hand grip, so I can have it right here. I was thinking more of like a hand stopper, more so than like a full-on actual grip. So then if I want, I could just, you know, like go showing with the shark fin hand guard, I can kind of have it like that, or I can kind of have my hand like that. But I can also have it like this too, where I have my thumb wrapped around over here instead of off to the side like this. Because this has better grip, honestly, better securement. Like I can actually kind of like really tightly hold it, have it nice and close up to me like so. Have it really up close to me. So I like that. I like that almost. Put my adorable, whoa, my little cover back on like that. I spent noon helping Six fix her car, and by helping me hand her tools while she was under the car, lol. So basically just being like, just a tool handler. It's like, alright, here you go. Oh, you don't need that? Okay. You need this. Okay, here you go. Alright, now I wait. Nope, you need that tool? Okay. Here you go. I'm honestly kind of the same way a little bit. Though I'm getting a little bit more hands-on whenever my friend comes over to deal with shit. Or at least to some shit. Oh my god, hold on. Got free lunch out of it, so I'm not complaining. That's something. Dude, I hate having to wake up and just have runny nose galore. Let's check this out.
Threats to children. In every society, there are people like this. And every society deals with them swiftly and very harshly. Let's spare the outrage here and just be...
Whoa. Swiftly and very harshly. Like... OMG, the nose emoji looks anti-Semitic, lol. You know, honestly, I've never noticed that about the nose emoji. Honestly, from a distance, it kind of looks like a Mjolnir, almost. From, like, over here. But if I get close to it, I can see those tiny little, like, 2 little pixels that are supposed to be in the nostrils. And I'm like, oh, it's a nose. Okay. But from, like, over here, it looks like just a golden Mjolnir or something. Like a golden Thor's hammer. But, yeah, it... Honestly, though, like, now that you mentioned it, it kind of does a little bit. I don't think it was intentional, but, I mean, it kind of does. I like the fact that he just, like, Tucker Carlson's just like, society will just deal with this big-tittied woman quickly and swiftly. It's like, yeah, by probably finding a corner to bust a nut in, I don't know. Like, yeah, they'll deal with some things quickly and swiftly, but not in the way that he probably thinks. It's big honkers. Yeah, it's like they're, I mean, like, my problem with it is that they are so fucking low on her body that it's just like, like, I'm just turned off just because they literally are, like, one set titty lower than where they should be, if that makes sense. Like, her set needs to, like, move up, like, 1 tier, like, move up here. Like, they're, like, hanging where her belly should be or something. It's just like, what the fuck? I mean, they're huge, but it's just like, I don't give a fuck about that, but it's just like, at least for me, it's like, holy shit. I see tits like that on all the women with boob jobs. Yeah, like, I mean, you see the you see the sags when you get an older lady. I mean, I can tell this lady's young. She's probably in her, like, 30s or something. And yet she just has, like, these same, like, fucking milkers, bro. It's like, Jesus. I mean, I have to assume that she probably, you know, got, like, tit jobs and shit. You know what I mean? Like, boob implants and whatever. I'm imagining that's what it is. Like, she just decided, like, I want some, like, gargantuan insane milkers and just fucking, just, like, made them bitches huge. But by proxy, now they're so heavily weighed down that they're lower than where they should be. Like, that's my issue. It's just like, they're, like, I mean, it's like, whoa. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care. It's like, I got no problem with it. Like, unlike Tucker, like, he sees it and he thinks it's the end of the fucking Western civilization. I see it and I'm just like, damn, holy shit. It's just like, I mean, what the fuck? I know my friend who's really hella into big titties would look at this and be like, yeah!
Deals with them swiftly and very harshly. Let's spare the outrage.
She had to have surgery to reduce them because they hurt her spine. Well, yeah. Like, honestly, like, that's kind of thing. Like, I like, you know, some big titties as much as the next dude, but only to a point. Because, like, to a point, them titties are gonna fucking be, like, practically just, like, fucking torturing that lady, if you think about it. It's like, I mean, because, like, that spine is gonna be all, like, strained, stressed out, fucked up. You know, especially over the years and shit. Like, I mean, it's like, I like them, but, I mean, you know, you can't fucking, you know, let them get too big or some shit, or else, you know, it's gonna hurt her. Fuck her up. Don't want that. You don't want bodily injuries done on a person, I would hope.
She put her head between his legs.
Fox News host Tucker Carlson, who absolutely, definitely, for sure cares about kids in the classroom, more on that later, turned an overtly ridiculous story into a call for violence against teachers. So I'm going to break down his segment from last night and show you a clip from a few years ago with a very different perspective from Tucker Carlson. Again, more on that later. But it all begins with this. Oakville teacher shocks students by wearing huge prosthetic breasts to shop class.
Oh, so they're not even real titties. They're just prosthetics. So they're just fake, they're fake boobas. So a teacher put on some fake boobas for the shop class? Okay. And, I mean, like, I guess just that in and itself, for context, it's like, okay. It's a little odd. I mean, like, I was supposed the context of what she was doing, or he, I guess. Which, now I'm not too sure. But I'm assuming, like, you know, this teacher's like, there's probably a point to this, so...
A teacher in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. Apparently a trans teacher. I happen to think, this is my personal opinion, doesn't mean I'm right, I could be definitely wrong. I think this is an anti-trans troll. That said, maybe it's not. So...
So, it's a dude who basically is, I guess, trying to make a point of some sort. It's a little weird, though, in my opinion, also. Oh, yeah, fake boob, yeah. I mean, well, if you think about, like, people who are, like, drag queens or trans people that haven't totally, fully have gotten surgeries, probably see those, see prosthetic, you know, fake boobs like this as a way to kind of at least be a placeholder, in a sense, you know, when it comes to expressing themselves, especially in a more feminine manner. So... I mean, yeah, I guess in a way a little weird. I can actually see why it could be kind of a, you know, necessity for, you know, especially for trans people. At least, you know, until they're able to, you know, actually develop their breasts and shit. So, I don't know. I mean, I see the usefulness of them. I mean, at least when it comes to just practical, you know, form of expression. But I mean, but like I don't imagine like a trans woman having absurd fake prosthetic tits the size of like, not even the size of watermelons. They're like bigger than melons. It's like I don't even like, fucking like boulders. Size of boulders.
Uses this one overtly ridiculous example to paint an entire group of people as predators and extremists. Meanwhile, conservatives are literally stripping people of their rights while holding others back from getting any. Well, let me start with this first clip from Tucker's segment.
So this week, videos surfaced on the internet from a place called Trafalgar High School in Oakville, Ontario. That's right across the lake from Niagara Falls. These videos show a teacher...
Wow, you know geography. Congratulations.
...called Stephen Hanna, who apparently has been employed at Trafalgar High for several years. Recently, Hannah decided to dress like a woman, or more precisely, as a grotesque caricature of a woman, not a real woman.
No, she decided to dress like a woman because there are women that do also legitimately kind of look like that. I mean, maybe not with such hyperbolic booba, but no, I've seen women that look like this. I mean, you know, to at least some degree, where they're like where they're kind of like on a heavier, more like thicker set, like, you know, thicker build and shit, and got some, you know, big booba going on, but they're not like overweight or anything. Like, I've seen women look, you know, in a very similar, you know, like,
but a kind of pneumatically
body
inflated Marilyn
form.
Monroe lookalike. As part of his costume, Hannah strapped on a pair of gigantic prosthetic breasts, each the size of a 10-pound watermelon. We're not exaggerating.
Dude, they don't, like, they look bigger than watermelons, bro.
Here. They're visible from at least 100 yards away, if not from space.
If not from space. Oh my god, what the fuck? Really? Like, oh my god, they're so big you can see them from space. You might be able to orbit those puppies. Oh my god, dude. I mean, like, it's just, okay, like, that one was, like, the only funny thing I think he said, like, ever. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that was a little funny.
Are right now on the screen. But here's the thing, Hannah isn't doing this in private, in his home, in restaurants and clubs. If he were, we would not be mentioning on the show because it would not be...
Even, like, yeah, but hey, Tucker. Maybe you don't need to mention it, even if it is, like, out in public, unless they're doing something overtly, like, sexual or explicit, which they're not. Looks like they're teaching a shop class, like, get the fuck over yourself. And if anything, the person might not even be a trans person anyway. They might just be, you know, someone making an anti-trans statement or some shit. Which, you know, fuck them if they are, you know, doing that, but, you know, like, whatever. I guess they have the right to do so, and evidently they still... Like, you know, the kids in the class still were doing stuff in the class, you know, like they normally probably would. So, wasn't a big deal, evidently.
Have fun, Steve and Hannah. No, Steve and Hannah is doing it in class, in front of children. As the Canadian journalist Jonathan...
High school students, which, yeah, like, problem.
He put it, Hannah has been dressing like this for a while. But only recently have students within the school gone public with this fact. So they've been enduring this for a while. Kay also notes that Hannah's costume is based on the style of Japanese internet pornography.
Really? So he's going... Hey, you can't go after your own audience like that, bro. You can't go after your own audience like that, Tucker. Come on, you can't target them like that. Like, half of your audience are a bunch of, like, sad little inso, weird, hentai, lolly-loving little fucking white loser dorks, bro. Like, I mean, come on. You can't just be targeting your own fucking audience like that. It's like, but, I love my gigantic fucking... He just cited fucking hentai. I know, dude. It's like, but I love my big booba waifu senpai. Please, no, don't go after it. Don't go after my hentai, man, please. Oh my god, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? When he literally... And he has, like, some fucking, like, he has a fucking random anime bitch on the fucking thing, dude. Bruh. What the fuck? It's like, it's based off of the online internet Japanese pornography. It's just like, such a, like, absurd way to describe it, for one. Just call it fucking hentai. And for two, like, you can't go after, like, half your audience like that. I mean, come on now.
In English as exploding...
When'd you pop in here?
2 minutes ago.
Milk
Fucking
porn.
on hold.
Alright, so that's a good place to pause. I'll get to more on this in a minute. But first, I want to break down exactly how Tucker grabs people in, because it is all there in that initial... I mean, this is the beginning of the segment. He knows how to do this. He starts by getting viewers on board.
Nobody's fucking called me.
What, no one over in Sunset's called you at all?
Yeah.
Bruh.
So I'm literally on hold right now, waiting for Buck to call me back.
Wow. Well, that's kind of lame.
Jessica can't fucking help me. She's being a bitch now.
Yeah, she kind of has been for a little bit for some of this shit, and it's really getting annoying. Like, I pretty much have had my patience tried with it. Well, I was walking to Tucker Carlson literally bitching about fucking hentai because apparently, like, some teacher in Ontario put on fake booba. Insanely huge fake booba. So, yeah.
Ridiculous imagery. I mean, this stops everybody in their tracks to wonder what the hell's going on here. And look, just on this story alone, yes, this is clearly distracting. I think this obviously is going to distract students. I don't know. Again, there's very little known right now about this teacher. I don't really want to get into their personal life. This is a private citizen. I don't need to do that. And I could be wrong again about them being, just a troll here. But regardless, Tucker uses that imagery to grab people in. Then uses comedy, like you can see them from space, like.
Which I'm not gonna lie, I honestly thought that was a little funny. Well, I mean, it's like it doesn't really mean much, especially coming from Carlson. I mean, out of context in a vacuum, it was a little funny.
So then again, to allow
they're so
people
big, they're 10-pound watermans. I mean, hell, let alone you can see them from space.
So he does that as well. He attempts to seem reasonable by discussing how, if this person's doing this in private, I wouldn't cover this. Who would care? So again, these attempts here to try and grab as many people.
And also, if it was done in private, he would also still care. Like, he would still call it out.
Possible by seeming reasonable, being comedic, getting this very distracting imagery, and then also attempts to be memeable here by bringing up exploding milk porn. Like Tucker just saying exploding milk porn alone, that clip is now going viral. So he knows how to generate an audience. He knows how to grab people in initially on his initial premise, to then bring them in to what he is trying to argue. So that's where we get to this next clip.
Now, there have always been threats to children. In every society, there are people like this. And every society deals with them swiftly and very harshly. But no longer in the West. Now, people like this are not punished. They are celebrated and then protected. It's hard to believe this is happening.
What? I mean, this is kind of what I meant at, like, the beginning. It's just like this dude could basically just say, like, white supremacist Nazi shit and just kind of get away with it. Because that's essentially is just what that means. So, like, we can't just, it's like, the West used to basically get away with lynching weird people like this and fucking basically being a bunch of, like, Nazi street gang thugs. But, no longer in the West. Like, this essentially is what he's saying. Does it mean people like it? Yeah, well, no. But, I mean, at least to me, yeah. It's like, it's because honestly, in a real modern just society and shit, people like this would be punished and actually, be dealt with. And people, by that, meaning Tucker Carlson and his fucking ilk. Gotta say something dumb again. Why am I not surprised? Let's look at this before we keep going into more of that. Facts don't care about your feelings. Hitler was oh my god, literally no he wasn't. Mythbusted, yes. Actually, yes, Hitler was a socialist liberal. Oops. A majority of the scholars identify Nazism as both theory and practice a form of far-right politics. Fascism offers us all that we can preempt and offers us all that we can absolutely replicate. Our adopted term, socialist, has nothing to do with Marxian socialism. Not Hitler's speech. When the Nazis occupied a territory, communist socialists and anarchists were usually among the first to be repressed. This includes summary executions. I'll take socialism away from the socialists. Adolf Hitler, 1923 speech. Means to distribute. That's right. That's going to extend to enterprise. It should be in private hands wherever possible. Yeah. Because basically the corporations, in a lot of ways own and have a lot of part to play in government when it comes to fascists and in a fascist regime. Which, America seems to have a lot of heavy involvement, when it comes to corporations within its own government.
Tell you it's not just happening in Canada. You see versions of it everywhere, including in this country. And to be clear, what this is, children being used as props in the sexual fantasies of adults. Children...
Sounds like the far-right Christo-fascist there, Tucker. Sounds like you. Because that's exactly what the fucking far-right do. They cry about how they care about the children day in and day out. And then basically just have like a fetishized fantasy about how they ought to be and what, you know, children, like ought to be raised as and shit. Like, they don't give a fuck. Like, they never gave a fuck about, thinking of the children and shit like that. Two words, purity balls, enough said. Yeah, like, they have, like, weird-ass things like purity balls, like, arranged marriages, for, like families and their kids and shit still happen in the U.S. and shit. Like, these are things that happen especially predominantly in the Bible Belt. And, unless there's, like, southern states have enlightened themselves at least just a little bit to, like, say, maybe we shouldn't have that and put it, on the books to be illegal and shit. But even then, people still do it anyway. And they just make it official when everyone's all 18. So, it's just like, they don't give a fuck. They just have, like, this hyper legit, like, sexualized purity, like, moralistic, like, fetishization of what, like, children ought to be, of what society ought to be and shit. And they frankly don't give a fuck who gets impacted negatively from that. Because at that point, they're considered degenerate and undesirable. And you don't want that. You want, a normal, just, moral society.
In the sexual fantasies of adults. Are you okay with that? Is any normal person okay with that? It's completely wrong. It's utterly outside the bounds of what's acceptable. It's not a close call. And yet suddenly teachers, licensed teachers, are bragging about it on social media.
I have had...
Shuffling around priests like playing cards. Yep. And all, yeah, like, shuffling around teachers, too, that happen to potentially be, doing, like, sexual exploitation of children and shit. Especially if it's, like, a female, teacher and shit that a lot of, these, parents like and shit. And, because then at that point they think, oh, well, the kid got lucky. It's like, that boy got lucky. It's like, I mean, shit, when I was in school, I wish I, it's like a lot of these motherfuckers think this. It's like, and yet they want to try to masquerade teachers and, like, the LGBT and trans folk as, what they actually fucking are. It's like, what? It's like, bitch, that's not how it works. But yet they want to try to push and funnel that propaganda day in, day out. And, well, in that case, it is. Reality, doesn't necessarily, like, unfortunately stop people from being irrational or illogical. Because that also is a part of it. A lot of conservatives don't want their sons to turn out gay, yet they want to censor every part of the female anatomy. Yep. And just be very much predominantly exposed to the male anatomy. Which might also maybe or maybe not get them more curious or sexually interested in that. More so than girls.
Not just with their sexuality, but also...
Dude, I like her hair. Like, I mean, I already know that Tucker's gonna, try to fuck on this chick and shit, and I can already tell this came from Liz's TikTok. But I like her hair. Her hair is crazy, and I love it.
Gender identity. It's one of the reasons I think it's so important to be out and loud and proud.
I teach my elementary.
Yeah. And she is very loud about it, because, I mean, honestly, I really do legit like that hair. It's like a fiery rainbow of, like, awesomeness going on over there. It's just, like, awesome.
Gender identity. Some people are girls, some are boys, some are both, some are neither.
I might tell this kid, we do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance to. And he, like, looks around and goes, oh, that one?
So, again, if you were
So again, if you are looking at these TikToks and don't realize they're just like little TikTok videos and not meant to be totally taken seriously and just have a little fun with, then you'll see that there's actually no problem with it. Now, if only Tucker was actually had a brain, that's what he would probably, but no. He's gonna go on some crazy absurd tirade and shit here, and, ugh.
With your kids, and a stranger came up and started talking to them, say to your 5th grader, your 5-year-old, or even your 14-year-old, about sex, what would you do? Well, you would call the police, of course. That's not allowed. It's a crime because they're children.
But what do you think fucking sex education is? It's teachers, which aren't strangers to these kids, by the way, trying to apply, like, teachers are somehow just strangers to the kids, even though it's like, yeah, you know, these kids totally haven't, you know, been spending a whole fucking school year with these people, you know, including the parents too, you know, meeting the teachers and shit off and on throughout the year too. So it's just like, yeah, so people that are, I guess, are implied to be strangers, even though they literally fucking aren't, are just like, oh, would you let them teach? It's like, that's literally their job, yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, like, no shit, you fucking moron. It's like, oh, yeah, because, yeah, part of that shit is sex ed and, you know, like, learning about identities and stuff like that when it comes to at least the sex ed curriculum. It's like, bleh. Fucking little, goddamn, worthless little non-bow tie wearing little rat. Put a bow tie on your little bitch face again, little fuck. At least then you look more like the clown you are. Here's something that right wingers need to understand. Teaching is about something does not equate to forcing us. God knows right wingers are familiar with that saying. They've been trying to shove religion out through us for like 1,000 years. I want to meet this Ed Sex. The sex was named after is Ed Sexy. I probably imagine. Who knows?
Do it, and then to brag about it.
Yes. Tucker is very worried about kids in the classroom, what they are being exposed to, what teachers are doing to them. We'll get to a very different Tucker from 2014. But first, on his points, he starts off by saying, people like this are not punished, while talking about the shop teacher. People like this. People like what? People that wear giant prosthetic breasts to class?
I mean, for real.
You found one of them. You had to go to Canada to find one. People like this, he's talking about trans people. He's using this one overtly ridiculous example to try and paint the entire community as somehow predators or disgusting extremist individuals. When it's a teacher in a shop class, yes, the breasts are a little distracting, but, you know, it's not like the teacher's even having discussions about sex in class. It's a shop teacher. But he uses that to try...
I don't know, does Ed, Eddie, or Edward sound sexy to you? Like, you should hear that name come under law in terms of attractiveness. Not usually. I mean, Edward, possibly. But Ed or Eddie, not usually. I can see him being, today in class we're going to learn about vaginas, and conservative parents and acting like he was grooming children by teaching them about themselves. For real. I mean, I remember getting some of my very first, like, sex ed back in, like, fucking 5th grade. And there was no problems with it at all. Like, I mean, there were obviously, you know, it's like, hey, you know, here's, like, you know, a little, you know, written parent consent form, you know, take to your parents and shit. And blah, 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 blah. And I did. They signed it, brought it back, and there you go. Like, I mean, then just class kept going. I mean, because it's not that big of a fucking deal. And honestly, even then... Like, when there's, like, fucking, like, someone happens to be trans or wearing fake boobs or whatever the fuck, like, who gives a shit? Like, goddamn, you know how many times I've seen that in Portland? Just, like, just on a, you know, daily basis? Pretty frequently. And maybe not literally every time I'm out and about in Portland, but, like, you know, pretty often I'll see it and no one cares. No one gives a shit. In fact, most people don't even notice or tell. It's like they can't tell, for the most part. Like... There's actually the last time when I was there, like on Saturday night, there was somebody that happened to be that walked right next to me, and the only reason why I knew is just because looking at their face when they turned around and walked past me. Other than that, pretty much everything about them just seemed like kind of an older woman type. Which they probably were. They were probably just like, you know, just an older trans woman. Or, you know, maybe somebody doing, like, some drag queen stuff going on. I don't know, either way. But I didn't get fucked because I don't care. It's just like, why are these things such fucking big deals to people? Because it doesn't, because if it doesn't impact me, like, any, like, direct way, then why should I really give that much of a shit what someone else does? Oh yeah, that might lead us to saying, oh yeah, that's like the game my dad likes to play for me, because so his corpse hanging upside down from an oak tree. Last time I heard Edward as attractive was Twilight. That's why I said possibly, but also, I mean, I don't know, like, wasn't there like some character from like Game of Thrones or some shit named Edward? I don't fucking know. But goddamn, it's just fucking Tucker, dude. Like, always gonna decry about how these people are snowflakes and, you know, how, you know, lefties, you know, are just, you know, whiners that just want to have their way and shit, and yet these are the same motherfuckers that are trying to, like, outright oppress just basic social autonomy of individuals and just basic normalization of just being respectful towards others. It's just like, good lord. And trying to ban abortion and ban, you know, gay marriage and shit like that. Lovely. Nice. Or as a parent won't not want their kids to be educated if they want to get away with abusing them. Yep. Pretty much. Whether psychologically, physically, emotionally, or otherwise. That's why I'm a heavy advocate of right-wing parent revocation. So, I mean, I definitely personally think there needs to be more restrictions on when, you know, for someone to become a parent and shit. Like, there needs to be a lot more stronger parenting policies. For sure. And so you're looking for good ones. Have you seen Sinister? The first one is great. The other is off. Everything after is awful. Typical horror franchise stuff. Ah. Who's a demon bagel? There's a demon bagel in that? Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. Something about demon bagels. Or was it bagel? I don't know. I saw demon bagel, and now I'm curious. I'm curious to also check this out. But, well, that's about 2:30 here, so, well, 10 minutes till, so, need to get on to work here, y'all. So, got my lovely little work shirt on with all my glamorous little pins and shit. The one doing to eat children's souls after making them murder their families. Oh. Well, that sounds like a crazy fucking horror movie. Awesome. Well, I'm definitely down to check that out. Get this loaded up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, boy. Oh, this fucking fly. Zukov, you got a visitor that you need to kill. I love the guy shows. Yeah, that guy who sucks the souls out of the damned. Oh, yeah, that guy. Oh. Oh, yeah, that dude. He just, like, sucks the souls out of, you know, children after he makes those children, you know, get possessed and murder the families. Yeah, you know, that guy. You know, I mean, on his days off, he's actually pretty swell, but when he's on the clock doing his job, I mean, he's very professional about it, man. Like, I mean, you wouldn't want to cross him. Pretty chill off the clock, though. City's also good. Bike game first movie. Good, everything awful. It would give you a heads up, though. A good old heads up. I don't know if there's a pun in there or not. I'm nice and decently high and need to go to work. So, but anyway, I'll be back later tonight, so peace out. And of course,